guys, how we doing? Coach Rob here with you to talk about our new Crossover Symmetry. All right. Today we're going to be going over what Crossover Symmetry is, when we are going to use it, and how to use it for you guys. All right. Crossover Symmetry, just in a broad fashion, is used to rehabilitate shoulder injuries, work on better range of motion overhead, and just to help strengthen overall in our shoulders. Okay. So first things first, we're going to go over, we have this handy dandy little card over here, and we're going to walk you through everything on this card, how it's used, and how you can read this to make you a Crossover Symmetry professional. Here we have a close-up view of our Crossover Symmetry card, folks. All right, we're going to talk about what everything on this card actually means and how you're going to use it to get your workout done. Okay? First thing we'll talk about is just over here on the side. All right, we have an eye level and we have a knee level. This is pertaining to where the resistance bands are going to be placed while you are doing your workout here. We'll take a little closer demonstration look in just a few minutes when we get through this. Okay. Next, we have the level at which you are going to be doing your workout. We have three different levels down here. We have a novice, competitor, and an elite. Essentially, within our gym here, CrossFit Manatee, our athletes are going to be either in the novice or competitor level. If you're kind of confused about which one you may be in, feel free to come talk to a coach and we can kind of narrow that down for you as far as which one you should be doing, guys. All right. Next, we can talk about the workouts. All right. You can see we have three different categories here. We have an activation, recovery, and a plyometric. All right. There's actually a fourth one on this card as well on the back called the iron scap. Now, we will look at each one of these workouts in just a minute here as far as when you're going to be doing them. Okay, guys? But next, right now, we're going to come around and we're going to look at where we're going to place those bands and what our colors here mean for each one. So we have our bands here. I place them just in the middle so you can get a good view of where they're actually going to go, all right? So if we have an eye level band, where you actually want to move this guy up to, all the way up here, and you're going to go actually by this clip is where I want you to place that eye level band. So you can see for me, this is right at eye level when I come down here, okay? Same thing, now if I'm going to go down to knee level, I'm just going to move that guy out. I can drop that down real easy. And again, we're going to go by that clip. That clip is below my knee, all right? Next, we just want to look at the bands real quick here. You can see we have a yellow, a blue, a red, and a purple. All right? Your color is going to correlate to our card down here as far as which band you are going to use for each workout. Next, we'll be looking at the three phases of our Crossover Symmetry. The first phase is the activation phase. This is intended to be done as a warm-up before any shoulder-intensive WOD you have coming up. Okay? You'll see that the movements pull all the way back to a 2-second hold at the end range of motion, and the reps are done between 5 and 8 repetitions depending on how heavy your workload is for the day. Now, we have recovery and plyometric, and I'm going to lump those two together a little bit, okay? Because these are both intended to be done post-workout. Right? First, we'll look at the recovery version. Recovery is intended to be done after heavy shoulder workouts. Right? The difference between your recovery and your activation is you are going to pull all the way to the end range of motion and then have a 4-second negative back to the start point. And these will be done for 10 repetitions at a time. Now, the plyometric version, also intended to be done post-workout, is intended for a heavy gymnastics load. All right? Now, the difference between your activation and your recovery is that you are going to pull to a specified range of motion and do a pulsing type movement. Sounds a little bit confusing, but we will actually give a demonstration movement in just a few minutes here so you guys are more clear on that. All right? Lastly, we have the iron scap. Now, the iron scap differs a little bit from your three phases of the Crossover Symmetry because this is actually intended as a workout, a shoulder strengthening program. Okay? This can be done 3 times, or should be done 3 times during the week, preferably on non-shoulder intensive workout days.
Hey guys, this is Coach Jeff. I'm going to quickly demonstrate the 3 different phases of the Crossover Symmetry. Right? The activation, the recovery, and the plyometric. Normally, when you're doing one of these phases, whether it's the activation, recovery, or plyometric, you want to start from the top and work your way all the way down to the bottom. Right? For demonstration purposes only, I'm choosing one of the movements and I'm working across just so you can see the 3 different ways of how to do them. Right? So the one I am choosing is the reverse fly. Reverse fly is done with a light band. For the competitors, it is the purple one, right, the 7-pound band, and it is set at eye level. Luckily for me, the bands are already set at eye level, a little less work that I have to do. All right, this is the crossover symmetry. So what we do with these bands is we cross them over. Right. From here, I want to get to a position where I have just enough tension on these bands. Right? I don't want to be all the way out here where I'm hitting end range of motion with the bands. That means I've gone too far. I also don't want to be way up here where the bands have smack in the starting position and then I'm doing nothing. I want to have just enough tension on those bands when I'm in my starting position. From here, I'm getting my feet out in a partial squat stance, right? I'm active. I want to stay engaged in the core and the butt and the legs so that nothing else changes. From here, I'm ready to start my movement. All I'm going to do is slightly engage my scapulas, not pulling them all the way back. I also don't want them shrugged up into my ears. That is a big fall. That means you're using all your traps and not the scapulas like we're looking for. From here, I am engaged. In the activation phase, I'm going to do the full range of motion, pulling them out to the sides, and I'm holding for a count of 2 seconds, and then returning back to the center. All right, one more time. 1, 2, and return. 1, 2, and return. All right, in the recovery phase, I'm going to do that same exact motion, except this time I'm doing a 4-second negative to the return. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. In the plyometric phase, I'm doing that same motion, and again, so this time I am hitting a pulsing at the very end range of motion. All right, I'll do 5 sets of 5 pulses, and then return back to the center. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and return. All right, those are the 3 different phases: the activation, the recovery, and the plyometric. Right? That is the crossover symmetry. If you have any other questions about the crossover symmetry, whether how each one works in more detail, feel free to come ask a coach. Or we also have a pretty little training guide, as well as a DVD that you can watch the demonstrating videos each one at a time. You're more than welcome. They're going to be at the front desk. Have a great day. All right, Jeff out.